If you've got a question, the voices of resin are here. Oh, PlastChicks.
PlastChicks is an SPE sponsored podcast.
Well, yes, it is. Hello. How are you?
Hi. Happy September.
Happy September.
Oh, man.
Did you have a good holiday weekend?
I did. I think. Did I? Yes, probably. Most likely. I don't know.
Check your Instagram.
Yeah, check my Instagram. It's been a day, it's been a week, it's been a month, it's been a summer. So we're moving along. It's fine.
So yes, welcome to the PlastChicks podcast. You can listen to us. Our episodes are released the first Friday of every month. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, all the podcast places. And you can actually see the video of this recording on 4SPE's YouTube channel as well. So if you want to see our haggard faces, yeah, thanks, Lynzie. You can tune in there. But anyway, I'm Mercedes.
And I'm Lynzie.
And with our powers combined, we are
PlastChicks,
the voices of resin.
And we have a super special episode today. We're very excited about it.
So excited. And a very special guest, Madison Kramer, a sophomore studying plastics engineering at Lynzie's alma mater, Penn State Behrend. Welcome, Madison.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's so nice to meet you.
So, Madison, before we get into the questions for you, we want to share a little bit about how Mercedes and I met and kind of what led us to do this podcast. And the specific reason we want to have you on today. Is that cool?
Yeah. Okay, thanks. So we met at a conference call as SPE volunteers, and we were instantly impressed and obsessed with each other. And this was pre-COVID, so it was an actual phone call. Just voices. So like any just very sane-minded person, we had to Google stalk each other to see each other's faces and learn as much about each other as we could.
And just as quickly as we fell in love/nemesis with each other, we developed a hilarious competitive relationship, friendship, if you will. And
yeah, I will.
Okay, so Mercedes would win an award, I would win an award.
And she would get a VP title, and then I would have to get a VP title as well.
We even had a Twitter, or I guess now X, battle that culminated in a pizza being delivered to PlastChicks News's headquarters in Detroit to see who they loved more. That's pure bribery, and I'm still upset.
Team Mercedes, #Team Mercedes. You should have followed up with some like confectionery treats or something.
You know what? My laziness won that battle. So we're always inspired by each other to do more, achieve more, and what's kind of great about it is we celebrate each other's wins, like genuinely and truly.
We really do. We've become real friends. The kind that you can text in the middle of the night. Sorry, Danny, if you can hear me.
My husband hears those texts. And it could be
a ringer off.
And it could be a crazy story. It's a panic attack. Sometimes it's technical questions answered in the form of GIFs or a combination of all those things.
Often it is, yes. And we've been through layoffs and promotions together, breakups and births, and we know we'll always be there to laugh and applaud and support each other.
And so as our careers and families, because I think I'm up to 4 kids now, grew.
Still at 2.
And our lives got busier. We weren't talking as much. We missed each other.
Yeah, we wanted an excuse to hang out more, but one that also gives us a chance to do more for the industry that we're so passionate about.
So we decided we want to share stories and talk to amazing people and talk about plastics innovations and things that inspire us, and hope that we inspire other people either in this industry or to bring new and diverse voices into the industry.
So we started this podcast.
And because SPE was a willing participant, and they decided to pick it up, sponsor us, edit it, publish it. Shout out to Deb. We love her.
And everyone else at SPE, thank you so much. So in doing this podcast, we've gotten to interview some truly amazing people and learn so many incredible things from them. And to our surprise and delight, people actually listen. We even won a Trendy Award. So Lynzie likes to call us award-winning journalists.
Yeah.
And no, but we do feel like we're plastics famous.
And because of our amazing listeners and subscribers, we recently got some additional sponsorship, and we actually made some money.
We did. And Lynzie had the beautiful idea to use that money to support aspiring plastics engineers.
And Mercedes, in true chaotic good fashion, said we should make it a surprise scholarship.
So Katie at SPE Foundation helped us look for someone who's passionate about plastics and who we think will have a great impact on the industry.
But someone who, like us, and like so many great engineers that we know, maybe wasn't, the total nerd of the class. Not the 4.0.
Definitely not a 4.0 student. Neither of us were.
Neither of us were. Listen, C's get degrees for a reason. And sometimes that hurts when you're looking for scholarships and you get placed in the second tier, which is a total bummer, because I think it's the C's for degrees people that really get that work done.
So all that to say, Madison, we want you to know that we see your value, your potential, and are excited to watch you succeed.
And we are delighted to award you with the very first PlastChicks scholarship of $2,000 towards your degree at Behrend.
Oh my gosh.
Congratulations.
So exciting.
And for the record, Madison is not a C student.
She's not a C student.
We are just making the comment that it's typically the 4.0s that get placed first in the looking order. I was a C student, though. That I need to make very clear as well.
Yeah, it's probably gonna happen soon for me, but
Listen,
we're not there yet.
It's okay. You just gotta get through the classes.
Yeah, you just gotta get through it.
Yeah. So we looked for recommendations. We looked for students who had applied through the foundation, and we found your application really inspiring. Like, you've done a lot in this industry already. You show a lot of dedication and stuff that I think you can't quantify in a rubric when it comes to scoring. And we're really excited to see you continue in this industry.
Yeah. So Madison didn't know anything about this. She just thought we wanted to talk to her about the podcast, and we roped one of her professors into putting in a good word for us. So thanks, and sorry for the little Guten Pranken.
No, it's okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So back to the actual agenda that we had sent you. I called it, when I texted Lynzie, I was calling it the faux agenda. We do want to ask you these questions. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got interested in plastics and how you ended up at Behrend?
Okay, so it's kind of a funny story. I went to the Erie County Technical School in high school for 3 years. And my major, I guess you'd call it was drafting and design engineering. And we toured a lot of plastic shops. Like, going into this major, I did not think that I was gonna go to college for plastics engineering, like, not at all. But my lovely tech teacher, Mrs. Sargent, she had us going through all these plastic shops. And at first I was like, man, why are we going through these plastic shops? But I instantly fell in love with them. Like, I walked in there and I was like, honestly, this is really intriguing. Like, I want to learn more about this. Like, this might be a future for me. And so all the thanks goes out to Mrs. Sargent, my tech school teacher. I love that lady. Without her, I wouldn't know where I wanted to go in life. And honestly, it's a pretty great path for me so far. And as for Penn State Behrend, it was really close to home, and it's a great plastics program in general. So
it is. It turns out some pretty good engineers. I'll give it that.
It truly does. It truly does. So it's early. Yeah, but how are you liking? So how long have you actually been at Behrend now?
This is my third semester.
Third semester.
Okay.
And so how are you liking it so far?
I love it. Well, the classes are really hard, but BY makes it pretty great.
BY, Brian Young.
Brian Young. We will give a shout out to Brian whenever we can. So now you're actually in the lab now, right? The semester?
Yes, I am in 222 right now.
Okay, so that's the class. If it still does the same thing, which Brian taught it a zillion years ago, where you have to pick a material and you have to write a whole paper on it. Is that still a thing you got to do?
I am not sure.
If he took that out, I swear. Well, I was just gonna say I picked polyethylene, and now I'm just a polyethylene girl for life. So just
Very
think long
good.
and hard about what material you want, because it's gonna stick with you.
Okay.
So what experiences and knowledge have you gained in because you've done some internships as well, right? I think we
Yes.
read that in your application. So can you tell us about some of the knowledge that you've gained from those internships that you think you might not have gotten in an academic setting?
Yeah, so through the tech school, I got a co-op at Matrix School, and I started learning a lot there because I didn't know anything going into it. But I actually got really lucky because Matrix makes a lot of Samtech parts, and I work at Samtech now, so I got like a little jump start into that job. But I did a lot of quality, so I got to know a lot of the defects and a lot of like how all those defects happen. So that really helped me. And it's really helping me in my classes because BY will ask a question, I'm like, oh, that sounds familiar. I know that. And now I work at Samtech, which is a electrical connector company. And I am doing mold design right now. So that is just a new world to me, but I absolutely love it.
I think
At
Lynzie can
first,
relate to that as well.
Yeah,
at
I
first it
do.
was super overwhelming, but now I'm like, actually, this is pretty okay.
Yeah, I think the first time you see a mold design, I mean, I don't know if you still see them fully laid out in like the 2D, but you're like, how am I supposed to do this? What is I can't be accountable for this. Are you crazy? And after a while, you're like, oh, okay, here are the things I look for. Here's the setup, and now there's typically like a 3D file to go with it, or at least in my last job, I had the ability to look at 3D files, and it makes it a little bit easier on you.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you've done a lot with CAD, and now you're doing a lot with mold design. Are you leaning towards that way in the industry, or is there something else that like piques your interest, but you maybe haven't dabbled in yet? And if you say color, we will rescind this scholarship.
No, that's not true at all. I'm a colored person.
Oh, I'm sorry. Apparently, we're not doing that.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in the mold design. I have talked to my boss and said that, like, if there's anything else like this, I would be interested in doing it. But I'm also intrigued by like the whole processing side, but I haven't really gotten into that. Like, I'm just getting into that this semester, so
That's
we
true.
shall see.
That's true. Well, and it's nice to have that healthy balance between knowing the mold design and knowing processing. It's better when you have to troubleshoot and know who to point the actual finger at, because sometimes if you're biased, you'll point it at the other side.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm curious, when you were studying at Erie County Technical College, that was the school, right?
It's technically a high school.
Okay.
Because you go to they call it homeschool, but your regular high school for half the day, and then for the other half of the day, you go to the tech school.
Mm-hmm.
Like a vocational school kind of deal.
And so you were questioning the professor's choices on taking you to all these different plastics shops, right? What so what field did you originally think you were going to go into?
I'm not sure. I'm not gonna lie, when I was at the tech school, I almost went to tech for culinary arts.
Really?
Yeah, and when I was there, before she started taking us to all these plastic shops, I was like, man, maybe I should have went for culinary arts because I like what I'm doing, but it's not really intriguing me. And then we went to all those plastic shops, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stay here.
And now you're hooked.
Yeah.
Good.
And
That's
as
the
a
way we like it.
as a plug for the world of color chemistry, my world is a little bit like culinary arts, all the formulations and everything, a sprinkle of pigment green 7, a dash of pigment yellow.
Yeah. But where are we without the injection molders of the world? We're nowhere.
Right.
So and I can certainly relate to the experience, of going into a manufacturing space and just being wowed, by all of it, because I came from a very different world, never thought that I'd come into plastics, but my first time setting into not even a plastics factory, but it's just a factory, I was like, how do I work here? Like, how do I do this? This is something I want to do. But what excites you most about the plastics industry?
I think what excites me most is just the constant changing and improving of things, because then it never gets boring. Because if you're doing one thing forever and it's the same way, and it's like, oh yeah, it's been this way for as long as you can remember, then it's like, I don't know if I really want to do that forever. But if it's like the plastics industry, where it's constantly evolving and you're always innovating things and trying to make it better and more efficient, then it's like, okay, I can do that. Like, it always has my brain to work. I'm not like mindlessly doing something forever, and I'm okay with that.
I agree. And even when you're working on, well-established products or whatever, you have the opportunity to innovate or make them better or use new materials. And there's always something new you can touch on. So I'm assuming you would recommend plastics to someone who's, on the fence or not sure what to do. What's your pitch for telling them to get into plastics?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I've got a pitch. It's not an easy major, but it's definitely worth it. I think someone at Matrix School told me this, and it's really stuck with me. You can work hard for the next 4 years and for the next 40, or you can relax for the next 4 years and work hard for the next 40.
I love it. I think that's a perfect pitch.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Madison, I think that's all we had planned for this surprise little adventure. We won't take your entire afternoon. Again, we just want to congratulate you, and like I said, you are welcome to reach out to us if you ever need anything, and we are just so happy to see someone like you in the industry.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.